Welcome to the Tear Talk Podcast with author, coach, and speaker, Mashani Allen. Known as the Golden Scribe, Mashani has over 2 decades of writing experience, and her passion for the craft has given her the opportunity to impart wisdom, affirmation, hope, and confidence into many. Let's listen now as Mashani delves into topics that have impacted her on her Tear Talk journey and helped her discover the power of the pen.
Welcome to the Tear Talk Podcast. So glad to have you on today. Today's podcast is going to be a little different because it's not technically a podcast. It is a personal invitation. Now, some of you, this may be your first time hearing my podcast, while others, you may have been following me for quite some time. And you hear at the beginning of the intro and even at the end about me being the Golden Scribe and talking about my Tear Talk journey. Well, I've mentioned it in the past 2 episodes how the Tear Talk journey is getting ready to start, and I wanted to give you a personal invitation to join the 2022 Tear Talk journey. Now, as you know, this whole podcast is called Tear Talk, but this comes as the result of a book which I created called Tear Talk, a 90-Day Guide to Healing Through Journaling. And this book was written specifically for people who were interested in journaling but did not know where to start or how to start. Now, I personally have my whole life journaled from 2005 up to present day. Yes, I know. That is a whole lot of journals. And that's why I specifically used 5 subject notebooks, of which I fill up probably 3 to 4 a year, depending on what's happening in that particular year. Well, many people have asked me how I journal, and I understand that everyone isn't going to journal like I do, but I wanted to create something to help people begin to journal and start a journey of journaling. Now, for me, my daily journal is just that. But for some people, from day to day, they feel as though they might not have anything to write. So the purpose of the Tear Talk book is to provide 90 writing prompts. So you can either do it every single day, or you can pick it up, and when you want to write but don't know what to write, you can choose one of the journal prompts to get you started. But what I've done over the past few years is I've created a private Facebook group which goes through all 90 writing prompts in this private Facebook group. And what this does, it's actually a couple of things that end up happening as a result of those who join the group. The first thing is the 90 writing prompts are automatically posted every single day. So every day you get a notification of a different journal entry to write about. So that gives you a form of accountability. Now, you are not required or mandated to write that day, but it is a pleasant reminder that you should be writing, and here's something that you can write about. So that's the first thing that it does. The second thing that it does is, if you desire, you can choose to write your answers in a journal, or you can go to the next phase by writing your answers in the Facebook group. And I have found that those who benefit to a whole nother degree are those who not only write in their journal, but those who also write in the group, because it's allowing your words to go beyond the page into the group which allows other people's eyes to read your thoughts. Now, mind you, the group is monitored. There is no negativity at all. Most people are just commenting on how what you wrote was beautiful, or a part of it that may have touched them or inspired them or encouraged them. And I have found, even for myself, that brings a whole nother level of healing when others are able to read your words. Now, mind you, there's no pressure. Again, this is not mandatory. And then there may be some posts that you can freely comment on. And then there are other posts where you're like, okay, this is specifically going in the journal. That's perfectly fine. The main purpose of the Tear Talk journey is for people to find the power in the pen. And many would be surprised how much power comes out of them putting pen to paper. You'd be surprised by doing this daily, like for the 90 days, how much you really need to express, how much you really need to get out, how much you really need to share that has been in your head all this time. But now you have a space and a place to be able to do that. Now, you all who have been following me for quite some time, I have been saying for quite some time that the paper doesn't judge. So for some people, when they join the Tear Talk private Facebook group, it allows them to just know every day what they're writing, and they're writing in their journal, and they're not feeling judged because they're writing in their journal. And again, there are those who go to the next level who will write it in the Facebook group, and you're not being judged there either because I'm monitoring it. But it just does something, when other people can be able to read your thoughts and relate to your thoughts and, take something from what you've said. Now, I don't know if I've shared this, but someone had given me a definition of what they felt the Tear Talk book was, and I loved it, and I probably should say it more often. But since this is a personal invite, I want to make sure that I share it with you all on today. And this is what was said. Tear Talk is a form of therapeutic writing from a Christian perspective. So some of the questions are based on Bible verses. Some of the questions are based on Bible characters. Some of the questions are based on biblical principles. And some of the questions, I should say writing prompts, are based on just day-to-day living, day-to-day life, day-to-day questions, family. Writing a letter to your future self. What would you say to your 10-year-old self? Different questions like that you will be surprised at what it can pull out of you. I've always felt that questions are like a treasure box. You will be surprised what you find on the inside just from asking questions. And sadly, as adults, we have come to fear questions, but that is what helped us as children. Was questions. That's what helped us to get information. That's what helped us to learn. That's what helped us to grow. That's what helped us to mature. That's what helped us to process. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that formula has changed. I think it's still the same. I just think we have to change our perspective of how we view questions and not see them as negative or see them as bad or see them as wrong, because I really believe that questions are like keys. They can unlock things. They can reveal things. They can open up things. Questions can be beautiful. And I know that all questions aren't easy to answer. And it's funny because I know one year when I did the Tear Talk journey, I always get a journal specifically for the journey. And so I don't write anything in that journal but the journey's questions. So I can go back and I can look at my 2019 journey, my 2018 journey, my 2017 journey. No, I started in 2018. So my 2018, 2019, and I don't think I did it in 20, but I did it multiple times in 2018 and 2019. So I can look at those journals and I literally have some entries that I could answer and then some I really had to ponder and think about. So there's no pressure in this at all, but sometimes we just need a community. Sometimes we just need guidance. Sometimes we just need the words because we don't know how to come up with them for ourselves, but we do desire to write. So I wanted to make sure that I provided this personal invitation to those of you in podcast land and let you know, although we have started the journey, you can join at any time because you can just start where we are in the writing prompts and you can do the other ones later. Again, we're doing this for 90 days and we are only on day 3. So if you join today, you still good to go. But there's some other things that I wanted to share with you about the Tear Talk journey. One reason why I think that this is so key is because this month, the month of May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And there are multiple studies, and I'm not just talking about currently. Even if you go back in history, journaling has been a consistent form of therapy throughout the ages. And we are blessed that now mental health is being acknowledged. People are aware of it. People are seeking help for it. People are beginning to understand it. But journaling is a very, very powerful form of therapy. And it helps in a lot of different areas, but mental health, it helps with that as well. So if you know of someone or you yourself feel as though this would be a great form of therapy for you during this month and for the next 90 days, I highly encourage you to join the Tear Talk journey. The other thing I wanted to share with you was that, again, this is a private Facebook group, and the only prerequisite is that you purchase the Tear Talk book, which you can get directly from MashaniAllen.com. Now, my pen for the past few weeks has literally felt like a faucet. Like I'm literally this has happened to me on 2 Saturday mornings. I'm in my room, I'm updating my journal, and I just start writing poems. I just start writing poetry. It's just flowing. So if you know someone who is looking to write, if you know someone who is looking to even write a book, a lot of people say they want to write a book, but they don't write, period. But writers write. And if you want to be a writer, writing consistently will help you to write, even though you may be writing on a different topic or doing a whole nother type of writing, that can still unlock you for the book or whatever project that you're looking to produce. But writing something every day can definitely be a key to help you to write the thing that you're looking to write specifically. Some people want to just focus on writing their book, and sometimes that's how you can get writer's block, because you can almost be trying to force yourself to write. And when you want to write creatively, you want to make sure that you have a free flow, and writing in different genres, and also writers or readers reading in different genres can be things that can spark your creativity as well. So this could also be a great source for those who are looking to write, but they find themselves constantly having writer's block. Taking the Tear Talk journey, the 90-day writing prompts with this group can be the very thing to help spark you and allow you to see things from different perspectives, which could also be used in what you may be writing as well. Again, it depends on the genre that you may be writing, but again, writers write, and writers read. And I have found myself actually reading different types of genres because that opens a whole nother level of creativity. And I've also found myself reading in different ways. So I have physical books, I have Kindle books, and I have audiobooks. So those three different forms of reading also open up a whole nother level of creativity. And that's just a little nugget that I'm giving y'all for free since y'all been listening to me for quite some time. Now, I was saying before I went on that rabbit trail, I was sharing how my pen has been like a faucet and I've been writing poetry. And it has happened that every time I get ready to do a Tear Talk journey, I write a poem. So I wrote this poem on April the 9th, and I wanted to make sure that I share it with you. And I believe that this poem is a symbolism of it's time for many people to write now, as well as why they should be writing. And I'll express or expand on that more after I read the poem. Pens shift and change from plastic and ink into brass keys that unlock hearts and open doors in the mind. The black, red, or blue ink becomes a clear substance that slips from the eyes down cheeks onto pages in journals. The thin nib opens wide as words collide and fight as they are forced out of just being thoughts into reality. The hand becomes like one directing an orchestra or band wildly wielding a symphony of letters, commas, and periods. It's time for pens to pour, to go deeper than they've gone before. It's time for pens to speak and release words to be heard in the valleys and peaks. It's time for pens to release the hidden treasures within that bring hope, joy, and peace. It's time for pens to challenge the stigmas, lies, and average trains of thought. Welcome to Tear Talk 2022. So that was the piece that I wrote, and I literally was writing in my journal and it just came to my mind and I just wrote it down and I was like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And if I'm being honest, I wrote the poem actually in two different settings in two different ways. So the it's time part that said 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I actually wrote that early that morning. And then midday is when I wrote about the picture of words, like pens shifting and changing from plastic and ink. That came separately, and then I combined it together to be the one poem. So I really do think, especially, COVID really had an impact on everyone, but how it impacted everyone has varied. But I believe that it has impacted many of us more than we know. And I believe that one way we can be able to find out how it impacted us is through writing. When we begin to express ourselves, when we begin to reveal our heart, when we begin to allow our mind to release itself and what it's been thinking, I think that it's helpful. I think that it's healing. And I personally think that it's necessary because sometimes we just carry too much on the inside of us and it needs to be on the outside of us. And one easy way to do that is to put it in a journal and to put pen to paper. So I have had some people who have taken this Tear Talk journey with me multiple times because they have found it to be that much of a blessing to where they've done it multiple times. And they have found that even though the questions are the same in different seasons of their life and in different years, the answers tend to change. And that in itself allows them to see their growth. It allows them to see their maturity, but it also allows them to see their healing. So I admonish you, if you're looking to write, if you're looking to activate your pen, if you're looking to journal consistently, join Tear Talk 2022. Just go to Facebook, type in Tear Talk Book, and you will see the private Facebook group. There's 3 questions that you answer, and make sure that you purchase the Tear Talk book either in the ebook or the paperback from MashaniAllen.com. And again, this is a personal invitation from the Golden Scribe herself. And I pray that the next time that you see that a podcast has loaded, that you decide to press play.
Thank you for joining the Tear Talk podcast. You can purchase today's featured t-shirt and learn more about Mashani by visiting MashaniAllen.com. Also, check out her exclusive line of custom journals at bit.ly/The Golden Scribe.